Good morning. It's Debbie's Stairs Demo. Hi, I'm Debbie. I wanted to show you a new technique. It's not new to me, but a different technique that I've used. I freaked out a few people doing this, but you know what? There's no harm done, I promise you. I've been working on my Homemade Families layout. And what I have are these clear stamps by Autumn Leaves. This is a Rhonda Farah, Volume 1. You pick them up at A.C. Moore's, probably a few other places. And of course you have your packaging. We're not doing stamping today, but what I want to do is I've picked out a couple of stamps. I'm going to peel the stamps off. Ta-da, ta-da, until I haven't used this particular stamp. And you see what's left? I'm going to put my hand behind it. You've got a nice black line, so you know where to put your stamp back at. Well, what I'm going to do is use this for a sewing template. It's not going to damage being able to put your stamp back on it. So I'm going to bring you down and show you in parts what I'm doing. Here we go. Let's hope our light holds out. I have a Tim Holtz paper piercer. Now, this paper piercer will go out very far. Because my thread that I'm using a nice thin gold. I'm not going to take and pull it out because I'll be tempted to go too far because this is graduated. All I need is a fine piece right there, and I don't have to go through very far. So what I'm going to do is, with the stamp side up, I'm going to lay and if you want to use repositional tape to get it exactly where you want it. But I'm going to put this right above where my photos are going to go. And what I want to do is, and it doesn't have to be perfect. This is scrapbooking. Nothing has to be perfect. But what I'm going to do is just sort of follow the especially when you go around the corners, you want to be a little tighter, a little wider on the straightaways. And I'm just going to punch a hole so that I can sew this beautiful design onto my page. And go to the tip. And we're just going to keep going, make my corners. I have always, since I have started scrapbooking many years ago, loved to hand sew. Now, I machine sew, but that's the easy way. And you can't do a lot of fancy designs. At least I can't. Let's put it that way. On my layouts. As you can just see, I'm punching and punching. And I'm just going to use a straight stitch on this particular one, but I like to use different stitches. Let me just put a stitch or two here. Okay, and I'm going to put another one over to the side, but for right now I just wanted to show you this. So you can see, let me get close. Okay. You can see I've punched the holes there. And to get started, I've already, you didn't want to see me spend an hour trying to see the thread here. Start from the back, and I don't want to knot it because, you know, it's going to leave a little knot back there to cause some problems when it's laying flat. So what I do is I take my acid-free scrapbooking tape, one-sided. This one is by Scotch. It's 3M, and it does say, whoops, it's acid-free. And I just take half that amount. I'll save the other half for when I get done. And I'm going to tape down my little thread, and it's going to hold. Ta-da! And see, I can just go in. And what I do is I go back through the next hole, and sometimes you have to go back and catch. I'm sorry, my eyesight's not great. Usually I end up taking off my glasses to do this. And what I do in order, see, let me see if you can see it again. Okay, in order to not be gapping all the way, I just come back through that last hole. So you're basically whipping it forward and backwards all through the piece. One more. And then I'll show you, cut away, finish that up, and come back and show you some other things. Okay, I am finished with my sewing part. You can see where I did the top piece. And it just added to the green olive color. And just nice little gold to frame out my photos. Now I want you to see the difference in, I'm going to turn it so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, a little bit more. Give it a second to adjust. I want you to see how big the holes are. You can actually see the light coming through the holes there. One, you should use a finer needle with a finer thread if you want to get a finer look. But I want you to look here. You're not seeing through the holes there. Now, if you have a thimble, this works a lot quicker and a lot easier. What I have are my Fiskars scissors. So what I'm going to do is just go back on the back side, and I'm going to close the holes back up. Just give it a little push down and put them back into place. And you don't have to do this every time if you use a smaller needle, which I should have done. Or, you know, because the needle tip, if you have like a piece of embroidery thread, it's going to leave a bigger hole as you go through because you have to use a larger eye of your needle. So what I would do is, again, do just what I'm doing. Go back over it and close up where the paper separated at when you put the point through. This is different than fabric, where fabric just will close around it because of all the fibers. This is a little less forgiving. And because it's a little less forgiving, you should be very careful not to put too many stitches in a row too close together, because that's the same as perforating it, and you'll end up with torn paper. Let's see if I've gotten most of it. Okay, let's see if we can see a difference. Turn it sideways. And do you see the difference of before and after? You're not getting, you can't see the holes through the embroidery. So I just have the start of a nice little layout with a few little more embellishments sewing. Again, I use my Fiskars scissors, and this I really like because it's long. I used to use mouse pads, but this is by Basil, called In Stitch. And it's a lot longer and thicker, so I don't go through too far. So I really like this an awful lot. Again, I got mine at AC Moore's. You can look around at some of the online stores and see what they have. Now, I would like to offer you something because I've used all of these stitches. I have a little stitch diagram. You can do blanket stitches and all sorts of French knots. I love doing French knots in the center of flowers because I'll put a cluster of them there. I tell you what, you sign up for my newsletter on debbystairsblogspot.com, and in the next newsletter I'll make sure to include the stitch design. Okay? Well, let me see. Oh, I lost it. And that's it. That's it for Debbie Stair. You've learned how to do some really cute stitching. You have a great Monday. God bless you.